In this video, we're going to be showing y'all one of the most unique, if not the most unique formation in Madden 25, and you'll see why when we get on the practice field. Shotgun deuce. Now, I did come across this from watching some Civ on YouTube, another really good creator when it comes to like teaching people how to do this, how to do that. But he's more on the MUT side, so if you're on the more on the, of a MUT player and you like things that I do on my channel, he would be another good watch. But let's jump into it. Now, off rip, nothing too crazy about it. Now, I'm somewhat familiar with this formation because of this play right here. Corners goes flat. Now, if you've been watching my channel for a while or you watch my streams, the deuce close has the same exact routes by my tight ends, and I usually just put slants with my wide receivers. So I'm somewhat familiar with something like that. But I think the main reason he uses it is because this RPO read flat will, which I'm going to show you. You can get an easy one-play touchdown. It's super glitchy. It's probably the first thing I'm going to show y'all. These are going to be my audibles. I like to have that counter just in case they're heavy to one side. I can run it to the right or the left. This inside zone split, I'm going to show you something you could do with it that's going to make it OP. And then the corners go flat because it's just OP having those two zig routes / whip routes, and then the RPO. And then out of this, we're going to show you a money play. Now, another unique thing about this play, if you switch to any package at the bottom right where you can toggle your right stick left or right, so you're going to see if I put backup running back or HB sub, you can see now my left tight end is actually my wide receiver. That's going to be the third wide receiver in your depth chart is going to go there. So actually, let's switch that real quick. So I do want my burner right there, and you'll see why when we actually start running plays. So if I put, where's he at, Walker right here, you're going to see now that he's going to be in the tight end position. You can see, hold on, let's do this real quick. Okay, now we're on the HB sub. HB sub just means backup running back. But now we have our third string wide receiver at that tight end position. So that's just one of the unique things about this formation. But now let's jump into the practice field and show y'all how crazy and how many different things we can do with this formation. All right, real quick, I do want to knock this out about the RPO. If the defense is pressing, you can easily get a one-play touchdown. The cornerback just kind of dumbs out, even if it's man or zone coverage. So what we're going to do is we're going to stem this up about 3 or 4 times. Really only 2 times is all you need. And just watch what happens to the cornerback right here, where he's going to kind of dumb out, and then you're going to get a possible one-play touchdown. That's just something I want to talk about. I think that's the main reason that Civ was like brought to this formation. But now let's jump into a few other things. All right, so the next thing I want to talk about is going to be the money play that I like to run out of this. Now, the reason I like this money play is because we're going to be able to cancel out some match properties, and you're going to see what happens right here. So when we motion this wide receiver, and this is another reason that this formation is unique, what we're going to do is motion this wide receiver over, and now you can see our tight end that is a wide receiver is pushed out a little bit, which is fine. And now you can see we have a strong setup. We have a tight end and 2 wide receivers and a running back on the right side and a solo wide receiver on the left. So that is going to somewhat cancel out match properties. Now you can actually run this play default like this. It is pretty glitchy having the zig route, the whip route, and then the routes by the wide receivers. But we're going to show you the money play setup with also some really good checkdowns. What you're going to do is put Y on a post route. You're going to go ahead and stem route X all the way down. So it's going to look like that. And then your running back, you can either block them or put them in an in route and B on a comeback route. I ain't going to lie, this is probably one of the best money plays because watch what happens with these checkdowns, which I'm going to show y'all first. Y'all know what money plays look like. We're going to bomb downfield. But look how everything opens up for A right here, right there in the middle of the field, because they have to respect X on that little in route and then up. So whoever's playing that vert hook, or even if it's the user, they kind of have to respect that. So again, let's go ahead and motion them over, stem it down, post route the wide receiver, running back on an in route. And another thing, the running back on the in route. So if they don't follow the running back, hit your running back. So if your running back's open right here, you can hit them, get about 4 or 5 yards, maybe even a little bit more. And we got to just talk about the checkdowns because a lot of money plays don't have the greatest checkdowns, but this actually has a lot of good ones between the running back, the tight end, and then X. Because, like, let's say for whatever reason they leave X wide open in the middle of the field, like right there, like right when he cut up. Because let's say that's the user, we can easily throw it to him right there in the middle of the field. But now let's actually get into the money play part of this. So we're going to go ahead and stem this down, put the running back on an in route. So the first time you run this, you can actually just block the tight end and block the running back. So if you want to do this, and they've never seen it yet, so we can do something like this. And now we got a lot more time to throw this ball. And then we get a possible one play touchdown, depending on the speed of your wide receiver. But that's a nice go-to money play right there. Again, do not sleep on your check down. So let's say they're sending some crazy heat at you. You know, they're sending a 5-man blitz, a 6-man blitz, and they're running zone coverage. We're going to have that tight end open. The tight end is going to get open. Nobody's going to be right there on that whip route. It does take a little bit of time to develop, but enough, like it's quick enough to where you can get away from a blitz. And then don't forget that you have the comeback route by the B wide receiver, but that's going to be the money play. All right, so we talked about the RPO, we talked about the money play. Now you can run this play as a default and get good results because of the zig route and the whip route. But another thing I like to do is motion out the running back and put him on a corner route, streak X, and put B on a post. Smart that all the way down. Everything is really a distraction to get A open. This is if you need those crucial 2 yards, maybe even more. Now you still do have the corner streak flat concept. So if that's available, by all means, you can take that corner route. Also, the zig routes there, but this is really to open up for A. And then let's say they're playing shallow, that means B is going to be open over the top, possibly a high ball or just bullet pass straight to him. But you're going to see this is what's going to work against all zones. Look how everybody just gravitates towards the left, and I'm able to hit my tight end. That is really all that's for, to open up for that tight end. Distract to the left, have a receiver over the top of A, so it just depends on if they're playing really shallow, we throw it to A or B, depending on where the user or that zone is. But that's another thing you can do with this specific play. All right, so we're going to go ahead and talk about another unique thing you can do with this play. You can actually turn it into a strong formation. So your tight end, that's a wide receiver. If you motion him over, he actually goes into the slot position. And basically the same route combo we just did, now we can do it to the right. But this will cancel out some match properties. And what I like to do is a setup like this. Streak B, keep the zig route, so that's good for man coverage. Put the tight end on the corner, stem it up once, and then put the running back on a streak. That running back on a streak is the key to this right here. Now, X, you can do different things with them. You can put them on an in route and smart route, which I think is the best thing because that's one of the best checkdowns. You can put them on a drag route and in route, or just keep them on a streak. Your go-tos are going to be the zig, the tight end, or the running back out the backfield, which gets open probably the most for a nice little 10-yard gain right there. That is easy money. All right, so let's say that we do that setup again. So we motion over the tight end / wide receiver, do the same thing with our tight end, corner route streak, running back on a streak. So we know what we got on the right side. But let's say we got the one-on-one on the left side. We know we're going to get a potential rocket catch. So let's put X on a streak and let's get some good blocks because this guy's been giving me hell. If you watched my last video, we showed you how to rocket catch. Very easy to do. You really don't even need a big body wide receiver. As soon as that cornerback turns around, go for the rocket catch. We got that one-on-one. They're distracted. They worry about the right side, and we have that one-on-one. I'm taking that all day if it's there. Same thing with the last setup we did where we actually motioned over the running back. So when we do this, put them on a corner route, and we could put B on a streak. So if we have the one-on-one with the streak over here, same thing. We could rocket catch on the right side. As soon as that cornerback turns around, we can actually go ahead and do a rocket catch. Again, it does depend if your wide receiver can actually make that catch. But that's something that you can do. So we talked about the RPO, the money play. We talked about different things you can do with this formation, the motions, like you can turn this into a strong formation, get some corner streak flat concept. Now let's go ahead and talk about the run plays. All right, so really I just want to talk about the inside zone. The counter is there if they're heavy to the side that you could possibly be running. So for example, the running back's on the right side of the shotgun. Most likely it could be an inside zone to the left. Vice versa, if I'm on the left, the inside zone could possibly be to the right. So like, let's say that they're shifting their line to counter me running towards the way I could be running. That's what the counter's there for. So I'm not gonna really talk about that. If they give you a good look for it, take the counter. But let's talk about this inside zone split. Now you can run this as a default and get really good results. You can get, a few yards here or there, maybe break it into something better. But I'm gonna show you the best way to run this to get the best results, which is motioning over this tight end. Now you can see there's another unique thing about this play. Normally when we motion over Y, he goes past the line and goes into the slot, but this time we motion over the tight end, he stops right there, and he turns into probably the best lead block ever. Both of these tight ends / wide receivers turn into really good lead blocks right here, and they take away the 2 people that could possibly get you, and we turn this into something big. That is one of the best run plays because the way the lead blocks are and everything. Now, let's say that we want to really mess with them, and let's do the counter and actually do this motion. And they're probably going to shift everybody over. They're going to try to meet you heavy for heavy towards the left. Now we got them with the counter, and we can get some good yards like this. That was actually a pretty decent gap right there, but I just kind of hit the hole wrong. Again, that's just situational, but that is something you can do. Now, there's one more thing I want to talk about the RPO that I didn't talk about, but I probably should have mentioned this in the beginning. So let's go ahead and jump into the RPO. So what you're going to want to do, So we know what we can do if they press. We stem route B up, but this is if they don't press. So if they're not pressing and we're running the RPO motion over this wide receiver, what this is gonna do is open up RB for a possible one play touchdown. It's usually like one, maybe two guys to beat, but you're gonna get a nice gain right here. So watch what happens. RB is gonna get open because they have to respect the flat, they have to respect the post route, and look at that. We got like a 30-yard gain. That is probably a little bit more glitchy than actually the streak or us stem routing that post route out because most people aren't gonna press you. Now, if they do, then you don't need to motion over, just stem route up B. But this is super consistent. You're going to see we have them open again. And you're not going to get a legal man downfield because you're throwing it about the same amount of time you would any other bubble screen or anything like that. So that's another thing you can do with that RPO. From here, we're going to get some gameplay for y'all. Possibly, I'm going to try to get some gameplay for y'all. I don't know because this video is actually getting super long already because there was a lot to talk about. But one thing I do want to mention, this is everything that I've been doing with this formation. If you want extra knowledge about this formation and different things you can do, go check out Civ. He does run things of few things different than I do, but I just wanted to throw that out there.